AnduinOS is a Linux distribution that in terms of functionality and appearance strongly resembles Windows. Developed by a former Microsoft developer, this Linux distribution has recently been attracting a lot of attention, especially when it comes to users switching from Windows to Linux. Unlike Ubuntu or Linux FX, as this distribution is now called, which essentially amounts to an exact copy of Windows and as such very likely violates copyrights, AnduinOS is a legal Linux distribution based on Ubuntu, which essentially only resembles Windows. When you visit the official website, the link will be in the video description, and click the download button, you will have the option to download one of two versions. At the time of recording this video, they are version 1.1 LTS, supported until April 2029, and the standard version 1.4, supported until July 2026. I will download the standard version, but you of course choose the option that suits you. When you click the download button, you will get the option to choose the distribution language. Currently, the list of options is not long, but that will likely be changed in the future. Also, you will get the option to choose the way you want to download this distribution. I will choose the second option on the list, that is, direct download from the website. AnduinOS is based on Ubuntu, but unlike it, whose ISO file size is about 6 GB, the ISO file for AnduinOS is about 2 GB in size, which essentially means that the developers have removed all, in their opinion, unnecessary programs that come with the standard Ubuntu distribution. Also, unlike Windows, the hardware requirements for this Linux distribution are quite low. The minimum requirements are 2 GHz processor, 4 GB of RAM memory, and 20 GB of free space on a hard drive. After the ISO file download is completed, it will be necessary to create bootable USB drive. If you are using Windows, you can use Rufus for this purpose. If you are using Linux or Mac OS, you can use Ventoy, Belina Etcher, or any other program intended for this purpose. When this process is successfully completed, restart your computer and boot from the bootable USB drive. When the bootable USB drive starts, you will get several options. I will choose the first one, try and install AnduinOS, which is selected by default. Although this distribution is not a direct copy of Windows, the similarity is obvious at the first glance. Of course, as with every other Linux distribution, this one also gives you the ability to test it out first to determine if you like it, that is, if it meets your needs. If after testing you decide to install it, click on the Install AnduinOS icon. When the installation process starts, you will first get the option to choose the language. I will leave English selected, but you of course choose the option that suits you best. After choosing the language, you will get the option to choose the keyboard you want to use. When we click the Continue button, we will get the option to specify whether we want the update of AnduinOS itself to be performed during the installation process and whether we want to enable the installation of third-party software, such as graphic card drivers, Wi-Fi, additional media formats, and so on. I will check both options. When we click the Continue button, a scan of computer will first be performed to determine which drivers you need. After the scan, you will get the set options related to the hard disk. If you want to do settings yourself or if you want to create a dual boot, click on the Something Else option and perform the settings according to your needs. If you want to use the entire disk for the installation of this Linux distribution, leave the first option, Erase Disk and Install AnduinOS selected, and click the Install Now button. You will get a short list of the settings you have made. If everything is the way you want it to be, click the Continue button to confirm your choice. Then you will get to choose your location, that is, the time zone you are in. And finally, you will get to define the username, based on which the computer name will be automatically generated. And of course, it will be necessary to define a password. It is recommended for the password to be as complex as possible, but at the same time easy for you to remember, because you will use it very often. When we click the Continue button, the installation of this Linux distribution will begin. The installation process itself usually takes 15 to 20 minutes. However, on older computers that only meet the minimum requirements, this process may take longer. When the installation is successfully completed, it will be necessary to restart your computer by clicking the Restart Now button. AnduinOS does not come with many pre-installed programs. As you can see, only the few basic applications are installed. Unlike most Linux distributions, not even LibreOffice or any other program for working with documents is installed. As we have already mentioned, the developers decided to remove all, in their opinion, unnecessary programs and give users the opportunity to install the programs they want themselves. You can do this by clicking the software icon. When the application starts, if you know the exact name of the application you want to install, click on the search icon and type the name of that application. You can see installed applications by clicking on the Installed option, and in the Update section, you will get the option to perform updates for the system and installed applications for which new version exists. First, click the Download button in this segment, and after the download is complete, click the Restart and Update button, after which it will be necessary to restart the computer for the changes to be applied. AnduinOS comes with the Flatpak option pre-installed, while if you want to use Snap applications, given that this option is not enabled by default, you will have to install it manually. The reason why Snap is not enabled by default is optimization. Because Snap applications take up a lot of space, the developers decided to give priority to Flatpak applications. AnduinOS uses a number of extensions to customize the appearance of this distribution. If we disable all these extensions, we will get the classic GNOME look. For those who want to make their own customizations, that is, to adapt this distribution to their wishes, on the website GNOME Look, you can find a large number of different themes created by the users of the GNOME environment themselves. For those switching from Windows to Linux and for whom AnduinOS might not be similar enough to Windows, that is, if you want to make the environment of this Linux distribution more similar to that what you are used to, you can do that by installing Windows theme that you can find on a GitHub page, and the link of course will be in the video description. Given that AnduinOS uses the GNOME environment, you will first have to install the Plasma environment. After installation, it will be necessary to restart your computer, and in the Virtual Keyboard section, select the Plasma Wayland option. After we have installed the Plasma environment, I will download the Windows theme from GitHub by clicking on the drop-down menu that says Code, and then on Download Zip. After downloading, unzip the file, that is, save the contents of the file to a location of your choice. The installation of this theme itself is done by starting the terminal, then entering the folder address, that is, the location where you save the theme, and entering the command that is indicated on the GitHub page itself. After that, in System Settings, find the Colors and Themes option, where you will see two Windows themes, that is, dark and light version. Choose the one that suits you, after which you will get the option to choose what exactly you want, that is, whether you want to apply the entire theme or you want to exclude some segments, such as icons, application style, and so on. After you customize everything to your needs, click the Apply button, and it will probably be necessary to restart your computer again for the changes to take effect. Feel free to leave any suggestions, questions, or ideas for future video content in the comments. thanks to everyone who took the time to watch this video. I hope you find it useful or at least informative.